Tennessee, home to the Vols, Titans, Memphis Grizzlies, and the country music capital of the world. This state offers a quality of life that you can't find anywhere else in the United States. You'll fall in love with its southern charm, scenic countryside living, and never-ending amounts of things to do. I know all of you are very anxious to start living the Tennessee lifestyle, but there are some big things that you should know before you move here. Stick around to the end of the video to learn about the 22 things that you need to know before moving to Tennessee in 2022. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brenna and I'm a realtor with SimpliHOM in the Middle Tennessee area. As your relocation specialist, feel free to reach out to me with any questions you may have about living in Tennessee. I have all of my contact information in the description. Also, if you want to learn everything you need to know about living in Tennessee, be sure to subscribe because I post weekly videos. So let's jump right into the video. Let's first talk about Tennessee's recent growth through the pandemic. Tennessee appeared in the top 10 most moved to states during the COVID-19 pandemic. Data shows that many people from California, New York, New Jersey, and Illinois have relocated to the South for various reasons. Tennessee has grown by 8.9%, exceeding the 7.4 national rate, and increased to 6.2 million residents in 2022, and Tennessee's population is predicted to grow even more. They expect the population to rise 0.7% annually to 7.8 million people in 2040. As the state continues to grow, there are many things that you need to know about living here. And one of those things is cost of living. Tennessee's cost of living is roughly 13% cheaper than the national average. This means expenses like groceries, gas prices, utilities, housing, and healthcare are all under the national average. Affordability is very important for those looking to retire or relocate their family, so Tennessee is an ideal location for many people. Tennessee is coming into 2022 with some of the lowest property taxes in the country. The median annual property tax paid by Tennessee homeowners is around $1,200, which is half the national average. So those are huge savings that you get to expect every year. And there are even more tax benefits to living here. When you live in Tennessee, you won't be needing to pay a state income tax. This will save the average household $2,000 a year. Additionally, there is no inheritance or estate tax. This makes Tennessee a very tax-friendly state. Even though you won't be paying a state income tax, you'll be paying Tennessee's high sales tax. Tennessee's sales tax is 7%, and you may want to add a 2.75% to that because many counties here charge that on top of the Tennessee sales tax as well. This means you're going to be paying close to 10% in sales tax on your purchases here in Tennessee. That can be pretty expensive when you break down all of your expenses. It can be a major adjustment for those moving here, but you'll save plenty of money considering Tennessee's affordability. We have seen a significant change in real estate prices here in Tennessee due to the recent population growth. You should know that the median home price for all of Tennessee is $218,000. This is 22% lower than the national average and makes Tennessee the 16th least expensive state for home prices in the U.S. But if you are looking for homes in Nashville, expect to pay around $400,000 because the median home price just reached that in this last year. Many of Tennessee's major cities have a highly competitive real estate market, so it's imperative that you stay up to date with market trends. If you want to learn more about different real estate markets here in Tennessee, then be sure to subscribe because I post weekly videos all about Tennessee real estate. While we're on the topic of housing, let's talk about relocation strategies. Before you move to Tennessee, you should know about Rentbacks and temporary occupancy agreements. If you're offering on a home, you have the option to add a rentback to the agreement. This means that you can grant permission for the sellers to stay a certain amount of time after the closing date, or you as the buyer can move into the property before the closing date. You can add a charge for the sellers to stay or offer to let them stay for free to strengthen your offer in this highly competitive market. This can be a game changer when you're moving to Tennessee because a lot of sellers don't have a place to go right away, and so offering them a month or 2 month stay is a very attractive thing. And it may just win you the home. Next, let's talk about rental prices. You can find rentals for a variety of different prices here in Tennessee. Nashville has the highest rental average at $1,500. On average, you'll pay around $700 or more for a 2-bedroom apartment in Tennessee and $1,000 or more for a 3-bedroom apartment. If you're thinking about renting before buying a home here in Tennessee, I would recommend checking out some short-term rentals with fully furnished options. And if you're thinking of moving to Tennessee in the summertime, then you may want to think again. High temperatures combined with lots of water vapor in the air is a recipe for humidity. Humidity is truly what makes Tennessee summers so unbearable. Temperatures in the summertime regularly go over 90 degrees, but can feel so much hotter because of the humidity. July is the hottest month of the year here in Tennessee, and you can't even go outside sometimes. So if you still want to do some outdoor activities during those hotter months, you may want to search for a neighborhood that has a neighborhood pool. And I can tell you from personal experience, I've moved during the summertime. I moved July 1st a few years ago, and I can tell you I will never be doing that again. During the summertime, we do tend to see quite a bit of rainfall as well. Tennessee Valley Authority said that 2020 rainfalls broke records and that the area broke rainfall records for 3 years in a row. According to officials, the Tennessee River Basin received around 70.36 inches of rain in 2020. Officials say that the rate of rainfall is 139% above normal. That means we're experiencing more rainfall than we have in the past, which can lead to flooding. The Middle Tennessee area in particular is at an increased risk of hazardous flooding, with Nashville having the highest counts of total properties at risk for flooding. Surrounding areas in Nashville are just as much at risk, so if you're moving to this area, it's imperative that you know about your property's flood risk. Another potential risk to living in Tennessee is the threat of severe weather. Tennessee averages around 30 tornadoes per year. We tend to see tornadoes form during the evening or nighttime hours, so it's very important that you know when your area is under a tornado warning or a tornado watch. We also get residual effects from hurricanes that hit the East Coast. We have everything from flooding, golf ball-sized hail, and intense thunderstorms. Tornado season occurs from November to April here in the South. All that to say, I've experienced many of Tennessee's crazy weather patterns, but I've never actually seen a tornado myself, and I've never been hit by a golf ball-sized hailstone. One of the best parts of living in Tennessee is experiencing its beautiful fall season. You'll get a break from the 90-degree weather, and you'll have a few weeks of the blissful, cool weather. This means you're able to do more activities outside, like hiking or fishing in the cool weather. Some of the most amazing pictures of the Smoky Mountains have been taken during the fall season. Autumn here is truly magical, and it's always been my favorite season, and it may just be yours when you move here. You'll also get to enjoy some mild winters here in Tennessee. We hardly ever get snow, and temperatures stay around 40 degrees throughout the winter season. This means you can go about your regular daily routine without being inhibited by inches of snow or daily freezing temperatures. In fact, just this past Christmas, temperatures were in the 60s. And if you think that's cold, you belong in Florida and not in Tennessee. If you want to fly on a commercial airplane or use federal facilities, you'll need a real ID to do these activities. The purpose of a real ID is to make Tennessee identity documents more consistent and secure. You can ensure that you have a real ID license if you look at your driver's license and see a gold star in the top right corner. But when you move here and you need to update all of your information, you may want to go ahead and go to the DMV and get the Real ID driver's license. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security recently announced it would postpone the full enforcement of the Real ID to May 3rd, 2023. The deadline originally fell October 1st of 2020 and was pushed back a year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's very important that you get the Real ID before the deadline, so be sure to get it in 2022 when you move here. You should also know about Tennessee's free college program. Tennessee Promise provides Tennessee high school graduates the opportunity to attend a community or technical college free of tuition and mandatory fees. Tennessee Promise is both a scholarship and mentoring program available to high school graduates who meet certain requirements. This program began in 2015 and has led to a higher college enrollment since its inception. So if you're moving to Tennessee, it's very important that you know about the free college opportunities that you may have. It's also very important to know about the big businesses and companies that are moving to Tennessee in 2022. Tennessee has become a hotspot for companies that are looking to grow their business and pay less. Whataburger is to open 9 restaurant locations by the end of 2022 in Nashville. There are currently just under 200 new business projects that are currently under construction in the downtown Nashville area. Many of these projects are business developments that are due to be completed in 2022. Tennessee is the second most popular place for California companies to relocate to, right behind Texas. Tennessee's affordability and large workforce are the things that are most attracting businesses to the area. The entertainment industry is very much up and coming here in Tennessee, and there are some sports developments that you should know about before you move here. When I say Nashville sports, you probably think of the Nashville Predators or the Tennessee Titans. But did you know that there are proposals in place to bring NASCAR back to the Nashville Fairgrounds? You heard that right, NASCAR in Nashville. If approved, the plan will be to renovate the racetrack, including extra noise mitigation, and will most likely cost around $75 million to complete. If everything goes according to plan, Nashville is to host future NASCAR Cup Series. I know many NASCAR fans in Nashville that are very excited for this development. Speaking of entertainment, there are many festivals that are lined up for 2022 that you should know about. Beale Street Music Festival, which always has good food and music, is happening in Memphis in April of this year. Nashville is hosting some exciting festivals, including East Nashville Beer Fest, CMA Fest, Nashville Pride Festival, Music City Hot Chicken Festival, and so many more. Bonnaroo is set to return in June of 2022, being previously canceled last year due to flooding. The 4-day music festival features more than 150 music artists. The lineup for 2022 hasn't been announced yet, but tickets are for sale. Tennessee's history runs deep with award-winning whiskey. Jack Daniel's is based in the dry city of Lynchburg, Tennessee. George Dickel whiskey is produced in Tullahoma, and Nearest Green Whiskey, a distillery with a powerful backstory, is located in Shelbyville. You can take a distillery tour and check out the history behind these prestigious brands and see all that goes into the complex art of whiskey making. Personally, whiskey is not my favorite thing, but I do enjoy learning about its rich history. Hunting and fishing are some of the most popular activities to do here in Tennessee, and there are some things that you should know before you start hunting in 2022. The first thing you need to know is that the annual licenses and permits are valid from the date of purchase until the last day of February. Sales for the new license year begins on February 18th and are valid until the last day of February the following year. A Social Security number is required to purchase a Tennessee hunting or fishing license. You should also know that you need to be at least 100 yards away from a road or public lands to hunt in Tennessee. And thanks to a law that was passed in recent years, you can now hunt on Sundays in Tennessee. If you want to learn about what you may need to do for these permits and also how much they cost, check out the link I have in the description for you. Did you know that Tennessee has close to 10,000 caves? Because many parts of Tennessee have significant amounts of limestone, which is softer compared to many other rock, we have a ton of cave systems here. These caves are formed by the slow weathering of limestone over many years. There are famous caves in Tennessee that you can visit, including Ruby Falls, Cumberland Caverns, the Lost Sea, Tuckaleegee Caverns, and more. You will have a guided tour for these caves, and you'll get to learn about each of the caves' unique history. Ruby Falls is my particular favorite cave here in Tennessee because you get to see a spectacular waterfall at the very end. The last thing that you need to know before moving to Tennessee is Tennessee's rich country music history. So many well-known musicians have come from, lived in, or had great influence in the city of Nashville, making it the musical hotspot of the country. Bristol, Tennessee is considered the birthplace of country music, where the native fiddle of the English, Scottish, and Irish was paired with the banjo of African origin. This music runs deep in Tennessee natives all the way from the Smoky Mountains to the Mississippi River. If you haven't already visited the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, I suggest you do to learn more about Nashville's country music history. Country music will always be a big part of Tennessee's past, present, and future. And that officially wraps things up. That was 22 things that you need to know before moving to Tennessee in 2022. I hope you all learned something about Tennessee from this video. If you're considering moving here, please reach out to me with any questions you may have about living in Tennessee. Leave a comment telling me your favorite thing about Tennessee, and be sure to watch my next video where I tell you all about Murfreesboro, Tennessee. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.